there, and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Katie Aloy Knight. Coming up on today's program, we take a look back at a year of progress within the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. We'll have that and more, so please stay with us. We'll be right back.
This Harmony Cove development stands as a powerful testament to the unwavering confidence that investors have in Jamaica's tourism industry and the overall economic climate.
The Mega Tourism and Real Estate Project is among the Ministry's 5 in 2025. Also on the list, Local First, an initiative of the government to ensure that tourism providers are the first in the supply chain. These and more in the Ministry of Tourism Year in Review. Join us on January 14, 2026 on this station inside Jamaica Magazine.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, January 13, 2026. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is reaffirming the government's commitments to maintaining stability, safeguarding national interests, and ensuring that Jamaica continues to move forward despite global uncertainty. Dr. Holness was speaking against the background of neighboring geopolitical and economic issues between Venezuela and the United States. The Prime Minister asserts that the complex global environment requires steady leadership and careful decision-making.
We are living in changing times, uncertain times, uncharted waters in many instances. And my job as the steward of your affairs and the servant of your wishes is to keep Jamaica safe.
Dr. Holness argues that navigating such conditions demands restraint and prudence, while cautioning against unnecessary actions that could expose the country to avoidable risks.
Not to steer into waters for which we don't have to go. Not to invite problems on ourselves when we have our own problems to deal with. This is not us recoiling from our principles and duties. Jamaica has always been consistent, and we have always been the strong voice of reason for small developing countries globally, and continue to be.
Dr. Holness asserts that Jamaica has taken clear and considerate positions on international issues well before they became the subject of broader global debate. Rehabilitation works on several roadways impacted by Hurricane Melissa are slated to commence by the end of the month. Communications and Customer Services Manager at the National Works Agency NWA, Stephen Shaw, informs JIS News that the program has been finalized and contractors are now being engaged to execute works across the country. Since the passage of the Category 5 storm, the NWA has cleared blocked roads and drains and removed downed trees and utility poles.
What we are going to be doing in the main are patching and a little bit of local rehabilitation on selected roads, especially those that take a lot of traffic, because we have seen where some of the main roads are really in a state of disrepair because of potholes, and so we are mindful of them and will be moving to try and correct those defects.
Mr. Shaw advises that designs are being finalized for major breakaways, particularly in St. James and Trelawney. He says for the Fairfield to Point Road, the NWA is working to develop an appropriate design, cost the project, and secure the requisite funding to undertake the much-needed repairs. In the meantime, $100 million has been allocated under the GO Road Rehabilitation Program for works on the roadway linking Shettlewood in Hanover to Anchovy in St. James. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, says special focus will be placed on the section between Mount Carey and Montpelier in St. James, where major pipeline work is taking place. In a release, the minister indicates that the rehabilitation works will begin later this month after pipe laying activities are completed by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Minister Morgan says the investment is critical to connecting residents, farmers, and transport and business operators to neighboring parishes. The overall $1.6 billion GO Road Rehabilitation Program started last year in sections of Kingston and St. Andrew and is now being rolled out island-wide, targeting corridors that require urgent improvements. It will address potholes, edge breaks, and sections of compromised surface failure. Minister Morgan says the work is expected to restore safer and smoother driving conditions for all. In other news, Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says residents of Darlaston in Westmoreland and surrounding communities will soon begin receiving electricity, as plans are in place to deploy an emergency power solution to the area. Speaking during a tour of the community last week, Minister Vaz says the hilly terrain has made restoration efforts challenging after the extensive damage caused by Hurricane Melissa. To address the prolonged outage, the Jamaica Public Service Company JPS will deploy an emergency mobile power solution similar to the one used in Treasure Beach to provide electricity while major repairs continue.
What JPS has done is to come up with another solution, a hydro solution similar to what they did in Treasure Beach, which they'll be putting here commissioning within the next 2 weeks, which will then power Darlaston and the immediate surrounding areas, and then they'll work their way into other communities while working on the major repairs coming up the hill.
Darlaston is home to several key services, including schools, health centers, and the police station, making the restoration of electricity a priority for residents and businesses. Minister Vaz says once the emergency solution is commissioned, residents in Darlaston who are ready to connect to the system will have access. The redevelopment of the National Stadium has moved a step closer following the successful completion of a feasibility study and assessment in late 2025. The update was made last week by Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange.
The findings establish that the proposed stadium redevelopment is both feasible and strategically important for advancing the country's sporting and cultural goals.
The project will increase seating capacity by roughly 10,000, add new covered stands, and preserve the stadium's iconic grandstand overhanging arch, which is protected as a heritage feature. The government also expects major economic benefits. Projections include increased revenue of 169% and a decline of 70% in government subvention to Independence Park Limited, IPL.
During the construction period, the project is projected to generate $70 billion in economic output and contribute $34 billion to GDP and create approximately 14,900 jobs.
Rehabilitation of the National Stadium is expected to begin in July of 2027. Stadium East will be refurbished to host events in the interim. And finally, students at Stony Hill Technical High School in St. Andrew are benefiting from expanded digital and workplace-ready training. This is being made possible with the opening of a new electronic document preparation and management (EDPM) and customer engagement laboratory. The $10 million facility was commissioned by the Ministry of Education as part of efforts to strengthen technical and vocational training. Permanent Secretary Dr. Kassan Troop says the facility reflects the government's commitment to building human capital and preparing students for local and global labor markets.
This space today that will be open is a space where your discipline will meet opportunity, where your curiosity will meet skills, and where your potential will meet preparation.
The facility is the first business-focused lab to be established under the government's 3-year TVET expansion plan. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Are you living on or in possession of family land? Do you want to sell or subdivide the property? Use eLand Jamaica to search for details on the property. You can complete a title search and verify the owner before you sell the property. If your name does not appear on the title, register the land or clarify the existing title in your name before you sell. A title is a notice to the world of your ownership of land. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one agency, one goal to serve you better.
There's always something happening at Jamaica House to uplift and empower Jamaicans everywhere. Let's get the latest.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness met with key government agencies last Thursday to fine-tune procedures for the rollout of the Hurricane Melissa recovery grants later this month.
The meeting that we just concluded determined the various operational procedures that will guide how the program works. The public should know that it is quite a complicated undertaking to ensure that all the different nuances and the different circumstances are captured so that we are in keeping with the laws that govern us even in an emergency.
The program is set to launch on January 15, with payments scheduled for the last week in the month.
We expect that these payments will take the form of using digital modalities or going through a person's bank accounts or debit cards, whatever is convenient.
An estimated 65,000 assessments have been conducted, and the ODPEM has advised that approximately 90,000 households have suffered some form of damage. Dr. Holness is urging prospective beneficiaries to use the grants for the intended purpose of restoring dwellings. The restoration of electricity to areas still without power was accelerated with the arrival of 150 trucks outfitted with specialized equipment. Prime Minister Holness, who was on hand for their arrival, says the government's recovery strategy is centered on the rapid restoration of electricity.
So we are driving recovery and restoration by driving the recovery of the electricity sector. And you can see that that strategy has been deliberate. It has been instrumental, and the strategy has worked.
The trucks were acquired through the government's $150 million loan agreement with JPS to strengthen the utility company's response capacity after the hurricane. JPS is now at 90% restoration, with approximately 70,000 customers still without electricity. Still on Hurricane Melissa recovery, Dr. Holness reaffirmed the Maroon community of the government's support. The Prime Minister was in Accompong Town, St. Elizabeth, on Tuesday for the 288th commemoration of the 1738 treaty between the Leeward Maroons and the British.
The intervention of the government will not be only to repair your roofs. We're going to look at your water situation. I gather there are many water sources around, that there was a water supply system, but somehow that fell out of use. We're going to restore that.
A commitment was also made to restore and upgrade the community playfield, increase the number of roofs being repaired, and assist those whose houses were fully destroyed. Adjoining communities that were also impacted by Hurricane Melissa will be assessed to determine the level of support and restoration needed.
I'm encouraging all our young men in particular to turn away from gangs, turn away from violence.
That's the renewed call from Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness as he steers the country into a new era of peace and opportunity.
There will be and there is enough opportunities in Jamaica for work, for you to be able to fulfill yourself without being involved in violence.
The conversation on national security started earlier in the week when Dr. Holness declared that the government would be working to achieve a higher reduction in murder statistics. Preliminary figures indicate that the country recorded 673 murders last year, representing a 41% decline over 2024.
We will be putting in place policies to ensure that Jamaica does attain peace as a country. We have cracked the psychological barrier of 1,000 murders per year. And we are firmly heading to attain the regional average, if not better the regional average, of 15 murders per 100,000. The objective of the government is for the country to attain peace.
The vision was also relayed to the faith-based community as Dr. Holness urged the church to partner in the reduction of crime.
We must now, as a society, from the pulpit, preach the rejection of violence as a means of resolving conflict. The church and other entities must now be able to see very quickly when a situation could escalate to violence and intervene very quickly through counseling, through guidance, but also by diversion. So we are going to now need the army of the church to pull in those youngsters and divert them away from the gangs and the criminal activities.
Dr. Holness was addressing the 20th staging of the Heal the Family, Heal the Nation Day of Prayer service. He says while the government has been supporting the family through social welfare, housing, health, water, and utility services, a more structured approach will be implemented.
But what is now needed is a more coordinated and concentrated policy that is instrumental and directly targeted at promoting and supporting the family in Jamaica. And that's the next step for this administration. You're going to see develop far more targeted policies towards the family.
Continuing the coverage of prayer for the nation, Prime Minister Holness met with executive members of the Jamaica Prayer Breakfast Committee. The 46th staging is set for January 15 to foster unity among the leadership of the country.
The National Prayer Breakfast is a calendar event. It's one of those events that I personally look forward to, and I maintain that it is of significant importance in setting the tone for the rest of the year.
It was revealed that the Mannings High School in Westmoreland is set to benefit from the proceeds of the event. It will be used to repair the school's wellness center, which was destroyed during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Another meeting for the Prime Minister last week was with the President of World Athletics, Lord Sebastian Coe. It was disclosed that the full impact of Hurricane Melissa on the sports sector is still being finalized.
As we look to the reconstruction effort, we're also looking at improving infrastructure. In the West, the main sporting facility in Western Jamaica, that was badly damaged. And so in the reconstruction process, we will seek to improve that. But we are also contemplating the development of one other facility in that area that would have track and field and other sporting facilities.
World Athletics committed $100,000 in support to Jamaica's sporting sector. Prime Minister Holness reasons that sport remains an important economic and social driver, and it will play a role in the country's recovery. He says the government remains focused on providing the institutional support needed to strengthen sport and ensure that Jamaica's athletes can continue to compete and excel on the global stage. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Thank you for staying with us on Jamaica Magazine. As we reflect on the year that was, we now take a look at the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Year in Review.
Welcome to the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Year in Review 2025. The Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has been reshaping how Jamaicans access the law, moving information online, pushing constitutional reform forward, modernizing the courts, and keeping justice services running even in the face of disaster. For many Jamaicans, understanding the law has long meant navigating technical language, limited access to legal text, or physically visiting law libraries. That changed with the launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, JLIP. The online platform brings together the laws of Jamaica, regulations, and court judgments in one searchable space. Members of the public can now look up legal information on their own.
The launch of this portal squarely aligns with the government's core mission of promoting transparency, service excellence, public legal education, and equitable access to justice.
In September 2025, the government took a decisive step by merging justice and constitutional affairs into a single ministry. This move brought policy development, court administration, and constitutional reform under one structure, intended to improve coordination and reduce delays in decision-making. The Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill 2025 was approved by the House of Representatives, giving renewed hope to Jamaicans with past minor convictions by expanding access to criminal record expungement.
It is believed that this bill is a meaningful and necessary step towards restoring dignity, expanding opportunity, and giving Jamaicans who have paid their debt to society a genuine second chance where appropriate. This bill is not about excusing wrongdoing. It is about creating an orderly, responsible, humane system that recognizes change, promotes rehabilitation, and strengthens social reintegration.
Modernization also took a concrete turn in 2025 with the signing of a contract to implement an integrated electronic case management system. The system seeks to digitize court files, streamline case tracking, and allow authorized users to access records remotely. This marks a major shift away from paper-based systems that have long contributed to backlogs and delays.
The platform will enable greater access to justice information, strengthening accountability, fairness, and trust within the system. Substantial cost-sharing savings through reduced paper usage, low administrative overheads, and faster processes.
After the events of October 28, the justice system was forced to implement emergency measures as Hurricane Melissa caused significant damage to courthouses and justice centers across several western parishes. Key facilities in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and Hanover were either partially or severely compromised, affecting their ability to conduct normal court operations. The Black River Courthouse in St. Elizabeth was identified as one of the hardest hit. As a result, court services were shifted to alternative locations, including the Balaclava and Santa Cruz courthouses, to ensure continuity of legal proceedings.
Jamaica must know that justice is getting priority so that the people who are suffered in other ways, that when it comes to justice services, the court operations, we're doing our best to make sure that they continue.
And there you have it, 5 top moments with the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in 2025 as the work continues to ensure justice for all.
Jamaica's natural environment is one of its greatest treasures, home to unique wildlife found nowhere else in the world. Our next feature highlights the beauty of Jamaica's wildlife and explores why conserving natural habitats is essential for maintaining healthy ecosystems and securing the future of our environment.
your ears for a bit. Hear the trees wailing or the leaves grabbing your unwanted carbon dioxide, insects making a shrilling sound, and the tuneful noise of some unnamed and rarely seen creature reverberating within the bushes. Now open your eyes a bit wider. Watch ants band together in groups of hundreds, or wasps gathering wood shavings to build their next home, and birds preparing some sweet meal for your liking. All these make up the wildlife, those organisms that grow or live wild in any area.
Wildlife conservation is an attempt to preserve either a species or a population of a particular species, and by doing so, you in effect are also preserving its habitat because the species doesn't exist on its own. And there are different types of conservation. You have what they call in situ conservation, which is conservation within its natural habitat, and that is usually the aim of most, if not all, conservation efforts. And you have ex situ conservation, where you're trying to preserve the animals in a not so natural state, for example, in a zoo or in a controlled park area. And again, the goal is usually when their natural habitat is improved or protected in some way, then they try to repatriate those species back into their natural habitat.
And preserving the wildlife should be an important part of the human agenda. Here's why. It promotes the continuation of native plant species. Small animals like bees, butterflies, and our very own doctor bird play an important role in food production. Conserving these animals, protecting these animals, means that we are ultimately helping in pollination. It increases medicinal value. Plants are a major source of medication, but so too are animals. Take, for example, how research shows that the venom from the cobra can be used as an ingredient in making the medications for leprosy, or how lobsters can be used as antifungals. It's a way to preserve our heritage. Some plants and animals are unique to specific countries, so conserving those wildlife means conserving those traditional aspects of our culture, things like the blue maho plant or the yellow pui tree of Jamaica, and even the lions and leopards of Africa. It enhances food security by protecting natural habitats from degradation and forests against deforestation. The availability of a variety of food products increases.
Everyone needs to play a part. We have to understand that preserving the wildlife, it's not necessarily just for how it can benefit us, but we're also looking at the future generations. And so each person needs to be a little bit more responsible in what they're doing, where they dispose of garbage, cutting off areas and so forth. Understand the law. The Wildlife Protection Act, for example, one basic feature of it is that all native birds are protected. Don't catch the birds. We have hunting season, that is something that is actually regulated. But besides that, we try to encourage persons not to take matters into their own hands at times. Sometimes we have some species that we're trying to protect that are inherently can be a dangerous species, like a crocodile, for example. We encourage persons not to go out and try to catch those animals, but to call NEPA.
Here's your chance to do your part to conserve the wildlife.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Remember to be kind, because everyone you meet may be fighting a hard battle. Remember to visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Katie Aloy Knight. Stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.